Hey, Carrie McCoy here. I wanted to jump on and share a little bit about my story. In 2018, on May 15th, I survived a major stroke. This came out of nowhere. The only symptoms I had leading up to the stroke was a really intense headache behind each of my eyes. So it would shift from one eye to behind the other eye for 20 minutes or so, and behind the next eye, and then it would shift. And that's the only symptoms that I had. Keep in mind that I did have this stroke right just a month after I had our 8th child. She was born April 17th, 2018. And I had a major stroke. I had just gotten done nursing her for the last 3.5-ish weeks, a little bit more. I was just caring for my baby and caring for my family. And this day, 5 years ago, I had just gotten done nursing her, and I went to lay her down. And one of my daughters was going to run some errands with me. And I went to say, "Render, help me to remember I need diapers for Reese." And it came out completely gibberish. Our 20-year-old at the time, she was sitting not far from me, maybe 5 or 6 feet from me. And she looked at me kind of jokingly and said, "Mom, are you having a stroke?" And I looked at her and I felt like I was a deer in headlights. And she said, "Mom, you're having a stroke." Luckily, my husband was just on the other side of the room. And she was like, "Dad, I think Mom is having a stroke." And he came and sat down right in front of me, knelt in front of me, and dialed our midwife. He thought maybe this was something weird that was happening right after, postpartum. And luckily, she did not answer. And he called 911, and he himself, his mother had experienced a few strokes. And so he knew what signs to look for. And the 911 operator instructed him to ask me questions. What was my name? What was my address? I could think all of that information. I could not articulate it. It wouldn't come out. It was as if I had a fat tongue that I just couldn't pronounce the words. He asked me to smile, and I smiled as hard as I could. And this left side of my face it wouldn't move. It was the weirdest, most bizarre feeling. He asked me to lift up my arms to see if I could reach towards the sky. And I lifted my arms. My right arm went straight up, and my left arm, I could not reach it more than like a 90-degree angle. It just wouldn't go up any further. And they said, "Okay, the paramedics are on the way, the fire department is on the way." And they were with us within 5 minutes. They were just down the street from us. And they asked him a couple of questions. They asked me if I could stand up. I tried, but my left side had no strength in it at all. I couldn't even push myself up. And they said, "Okay, we're taking her in for a stroke evaluation." And immediately I was like, I'm too young to have a stroke. Old people have strokes. What is happening? Why am I having a stroke? And they got me into the gurney, and they wheeled me down the stairs, down the front driveway, and into the ambulance. And as soon as they started to push me into the ambulance, an affirmation that I learned at a really young age was from Louise Hay. And it was, "I am safe and secure. I am safe and secure." Even though I was scared, I still thought that I am safe and secure. I am safe and secure. I am safe and secure. And they took me to the hospital right away. They asked me questions throughout the travel. I remember all of it. I had one fireman named Jonathan on one side and one named John on the other side. I couldn't forget that. They asked me questions, and I was trying to be funny. by answering them. Typical, what type of animal is Mickey? Mickey. And I was like, mouse. And they were like, okay, who is the president? And I was like, he's stupid. That made them laugh. And they said, who's the president? And I said, Trump. Sorry for all you Trump fans out there. And then it was just a whirlwind of medical things that had happened. I went into emergency surgery after they had ran a few tests on me. I went without blood supply to the right side of my brain for, I think it was about 3.5 hours. I was awake during my surgery. I don't know, for some reason they needed me awake. They went in through my groin and fed that up through my entire artery, my main right artery, into my brain. The doctor had other specialists on, I think it was Zoom, on other what's it called? TVs in the room. And they navigated my surgery. It took the surgeon 5 passes. So he went in through the groin 5 different times before he was able to get to that clot to withdraw. After he withdrew that main clot, they found 4 more additional clots in the right side of my brain. And he decided to pursue those clots as well, and successfully was able to remove those. Afterwards, at one of the appointments, he said, all I could do was see you as my sister, and I had to save your life. And I thank God for his skill. He wasn't the kindest surgeon, but he saved my life. The type of stroke that I have, most people don't survive. It was called a CAD, carotid artery dissection. Not only did I have 1 dissection, but I had a double dissection. I had 2 dissections, which means that a little bit of tissue within the artery broke down and 1 broke up. And so as the blood flowed through the artery, it pooled and clotted behind that second dissection. It was the scariest, most painful thing I've ever been through. And I've had 8 kids, and I had the last 5 of those babies naturally. And that brain surgery was the most intense, excruciating pain I've ever felt. The sound was awful. The smell was awful. And I thank God every day that I'm here. I've had to do a lot of work in my mindset. I've had to do a lot of work physically to keep up the strength in my body on my left side. And I can tell on days that I don't work out and I don't keep that up, because that left side does become a little bit weaker. And I hope that I can be a living testimony of what you can go through and what you can heal through, and how your life can impact others, and how your testimony can impact others. I'm grateful for my stroke, because of my stroke is why I believe I met Jesus. Because of my stroke is why I believe I started running Spartan races. Because of my stroke is why I continue to push through every day, even on hard days. I was only in the hospital for less than 36 hours. I went straight from the ICU home. The morning after surgery, the doctors and nurses, they were coming in, and everybody was so curious as to why this healthy new mom had this stroke. And so I had students coming in. I had all kinds of different doctors like saying that how much of a miracle this was, and how lucky I am, and what a blessing, it is to still have me here. And this past weekend, I celebrated my birthday, Mother's Day, and today is my stroke anniversary. And I'm so grateful that I'm here. I'm so grateful of the lives that I've been able to impact, of the love and support that's been around me through my healing journey. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. I hope that my story can have an impact on you. I hope that you can see through hard times. I hope that you can know that you're loved, that you're valued, that you're enough. Because I didn't see a lot of that in me. And unfortunately, I had a stroke to make me wake up to these things. And as I reflect back on the last 5 years, I've come so far. My family has come so far. And we've all grown so much because of it. Sometimes trials in life are brought to help bring you lessons and to make you stronger and for you to become the person that you are or that God wants you to be. Life isn't always easy. It's not always rainbows and unicorns like I want it to be. But it's all worth it. I have written a book that I published last year. You can get on Amazon. It's called Silent Awakenings. And not only does it tell my story of my stroke, but it also tells you a story of who I am before my stroke, even back to when I was 2 years old. And it shares with you the journey of the trials and the tribulations and the victories that I've been through in life. And it's great for TBI individuals that have survived brain injuries. It's great for caregivers. It's great for moms. I talk about being a mom of 8 and having a victim mentality. And it doesn't work. It's not the best choice. We can choose different, and I want you to know that. I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm grateful that I get to share my testimony and my story of healing, of God, of Jesus, of my family, and I hope that this brings you inspiration and empowerment to get through tough times and to know that you are loved. Have a great day.